Hey guys, sorry I'm a little bit late with this one. It was the British Grand Prix last weekend. It's already Thursday, so I apologise for being completely late, but I figured as we have about a 3 week gap, I think, until Hungary with no German Grand Prix on the calendar, I figured we could afford to wait a little bit to just tide ourselves over, to be honest. If I can try and remember everything, I never do anyway, but I will try my best. First things first, I suppose, to start at the beginning. Team Adorable, which is my little name for my favourite drivers. If I had a dream team, I would have Jenson Button and Romain Grosjean, and have Stefano Domenicali as team principal. Um, yeah, they had a little bit of an interesting first lap, didn't they? So that was massively disappointing for me, and obviously I'm a big fan of Pasta Maldonado with my pasta pom-poms. So to have Button, Grosjean, Maldonado all out on the first lap was spectacular for me. So I think, to be fair, I'm doing quite well to stay positive about this race. It was pretty disappointing. Um, I think Felipe Massa gave me strength because I was screaming at the television for that start. It was absolutely phenomenal. I don't even know what to say. I don't know where the hell they got that from. I don't know what kind of start procedure they had, but the Mercedes were just left for dead, and that's with them saying they both had good starts and that they were both happy with their various clutches, etc. So yeah, Felipe Massa storming from third place on the grid. If you haven't seen it, oh, for God's sake, go find a GIF or a little video or anything at all, because it was absolutely spectacular. He just left them for dead. He just went straight through the middle of them and just went, "See you later," and it was incredible. And then obviously, yeah, Bottas gave it a good go as well and managed to stay ahead of Rosberg, I believe. So and then yeah, the restart I think was I suppose the next sort of Williams awesomeness. After the safety car had gone away to clear up the mess that was, I think, turn three. Um, yeah, Bottas, I believe, between the marks. There was Felipe Massa meant to be, leading the pack, and I was really hoping he would nail the restart, but he made a total hash of it, to be honest. Admittedly, it's not a position he's often found himself in lately, but yeah, he totally cocked it up, to be honest. But then, luckily, I suppose for me, being more of a Williams fan than Mercedes, obviously, Hamilton managed to mess it up even more by just sort of locking up and going off track. And Bottas said, "Thank you very much, I'll take that." So we actually had Williams being a 1-2, and I just get so excited when it's not Mercedes 1-2. Even if you're a fan of them, I say this pretty much every time, but even if you're a fan of them, you've got to like having a bit of a mix up every now and then. I think it is just more entertaining. So although obviously we ended up with a Mercedes 1-2 and the same podium we've had all year pretty much, it was really nice in that first stage of the race to have some different leaders. And with that came obviously a bit of controversy, I suppose, for team orders. Lovely team orders. I know how we love that. Rob Smedley was probably quite grateful not to be on the end of the radio call to Felipe Massa on this occasion. I'm really torn. I'm gonna put it this way. You could tell Williams weren't ready to be in a 1-2 position. They had not strategized for this in advance. They had no clue they'd have such an amazing start. So you could hear in the voice of Valtteri's engineer, you could hear the doubt and the confusion. He didn't know what he was doing. I think they had a sensible thought behind it. I think they wanted to give themselves the best chance at all. They wanted to both pull away from the Mercs. Obviously, that's the ideal situation, but you have to look at the speed. I mean, in a way, I would have said if Bottas genuinely had the speed to get past him, he would have gotten past him. If he was clearly not really listening to the team orders too much anyway, he was giving it a bloody good go. So regardless of that, I think maybe he didn't have the full pace, because I think he genuinely would have not listened to them, and I think he would have just gotten past if he could have done. But obviously in the same car, that's going to be exceptionally difficult to do. So I think they just panicked. I think I'm not gonna judge them too harshly, because it's not like it's something they do every race. They don't really have the need to. Obviously, to go from being a 1-2 in the first stage of the race to getting in positions 4 and 5, which is fairly mediocre by their standards, I suppose. I mean, it's good to beat one Ferrari, but it's still not a podium for either driver. It is disappointing, and I think they do deserve some of the stick they got for it. But equally, I can understand their panic in that moment. It's Valtteri screaming down the radio saying, I need to do it now, I need to do it on the back straight. and they need to make a decision like that, they instantly need to know exactly what to do, and they need to know so many eventualities. So I'm sort of letting them off a little bit, and you know, when the time came, they did say, okay, actually, you know, you can race, but it was too late. So yeah, I think it was just an innocent mistake by Williams, really. I think they were trying to think of the best for the team, trying to get, you know, they did gain on Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, and that's what they've got to be thinking of at this stage, because let's be honest, their drivers aren't going to win the Drivers' Championship, are they? I don't even know if that's mathematically possible, even now. So they had to think of the Constructors, they had to think of all of that. So although it was a disappointing decision from a racing point of view, we still saw some great action from Valtteri, you know, giving it its best shot. And yeah, it was just nice to see the Williams out front. So that was the main positivity keeping me going when I've got, you know, grumpy gents and grumpy Grosjean, and no pasta pom-poms to shake. And then, yeah, I suppose the other thing is going to be Mercedes. Obviously, they clawed it back, as we expected they would, sadly. The issue I had was, I mean, obviously it's a whole team game, and I love strategy. I love when strategy comes into it, because I think it's, I don't know, it's a clever element of it in a way. You know, we have all the cleverness of the cars themselves, but you don't see that necessarily on race day. So when you have things like strategy in the pit stops, I do really enjoy it. But in the same way, I think it is disappointing to see that Mercedes don't seem to want to get the work done on track. You know, they could have fought to pass the Williams on track, but they chose not to. They sort of just lingered just outside of the dirty air, I think, for most of the first stint of the race, and then thought, well, we'll just nail them in the pits, which, you know, fair play to them. It got the job done, and anyone leading both championships like that would want to do the safest and easiest and most methodical sort of way of doing the overtake, basically. But it was kind of lackluster. I think it was a bit, I don't know, just a bit boring. Because after that first stage of the race, excuse random noises, after that first stage of the race, let's be honest, it all sort of died down quite a lot. I don't think anybody was particularly enthralled by the latter stages of the race until the British weather arrived, and spiced it all up for us. Again, you've got to say, shush. You've got to say that the weather, it's one of those things. Everyone laughed at Bernie when he said, "Oh, let's do sprinklers, let's make fake rain." But actually, it would be pretty awesome. We know that having, you know, rainy races and bringing that strategic element into it, and just watching them fight the cars was awesome. Regarding Lewis's pit stop, obviously, yeah, it was perfect timing. I don't know how anyone could have predicted that. It was probably just luck, but in the same way, Jenson Button's pit stops in Canada 2011 were mostly just luck, but, you know, it's also having the balls to make the call. So, you know, fair play on that point of view, and it did, you know, work perfectly for Lewis. And, you know, you have drivers like Kimi Räikkönen who are more experienced and yet got it just wrong, just by a lap, basically, just with the intensity of the rain just not being quite right. Drivers like Ericsson getting hit even worse, unfortunately, being in for inters, in for slicks, and then just everything wrong at the wrong time. But yeah, it was interesting to see Lewis sort of try and magically take credit for this whole pit call, and yet when it was the wrong pit call in Monaco, oh, it's all the team's fault, and I'm having a big sulk. I don't see how he can take full credit for that. There's a lot of luck, and there's a lot of, you know, a whole team full of very experienced strategists. So that was a bit hashtag blessed, let's put it that way. So yeah, that was a lucky but good call, and yeah, and it won the race, and Vettel just snuck in, didn't he? I have no idea where he came from. He was pretty much anonymous throughout the race, to be honest. He was having a duel with a Red Bull or something for a while, maybe Fiat, for a while, but to be honest, yeah, he was quite anonymous in amongst everything, but he got things right when he needed to. He pitched on the same lap as Hamilton, and he did the job. Right tyres at the right time, and you're gonna sneak onto the podium like that. So fair play for Ferrari. They did lose out to Williams in this race overall, but you know, that was a good result considering they were pretty much nowhere, and Raikkonen messed up pit stop decisions and so on. So yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to think if anything else happened. Obviously, yeah, when we were getting a bit bored at the end, I was kind of, you know, enjoying a moist Robs medley, as we all enjoyed. That just sort of woke everyone up a little bit, I think. I'm glad everyone at the Grand Prix had an amazing time. Obviously, all the, you know, patriotic fans have got a great result, so lucky them. But yeah, I struggled with the result to be very positive, given my three favourite drivers were just sort of out of it, and my other driver I like was leading and then sort of threw it away. So yeah, but I did manage to predict the top 3, so I've never been more disappointed to get my predictions pretty accurate, to be honest. So yeah, that's it for, we're away from Silverstone now. Everyone's pottering around for 3 weeks, pretty much, probably all heading back to the factories and so on. No German Grand Prix. And so soon it will be the 3-year anniversary of my first ever YouTube video / F1 vlog / fan formula, as it used to be called back in the day. So that was pretty epic. And yeah, and then hopefully we'll be meeting up at F1 in pubs / motorsport in pubs, sports in pubs, whatever it's called now that Bernie approves of. Hopefully a few of us will be meeting up off Twitter to watch the race and rant about it afterwards. So we'll see, that might be a group video, or if everybody's grumpy or disagreeing too much, having too much of an argument, maybe I'll just wait till we get home. This is the good thing, I tend to leave it a day or two to at least let everything sink in, because if I did it on the day I'd just be sulking and just be like, Grosjean crashed into a button, and just be very upset. So and just chill for a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now because, yeah, there was a lot of rambling going on, as there always is. So I hope you enjoyed the Silverstone event, whether you were there or whether you're watching it at home like me. And I'll see you in a few weeks. Still a while, unfortunately, but yes, I will see you. I'll be back for the Hungarian Grand Prix in a little while. I'll see you next time. Bye!